Today we're going to have an exciting video. We're going to take this iPhone 7 that is 32 gigabytes and upgrade it all the way to 256 gigabytes. So I'm going to go through the whole process on how to remove the NAND, program it, and all that good stuff. Also show you all the different tools and everything. So it's going to be a full process, nothing left out. So pretty excited for this one. If you're here on the live stream, make sure you let me know in the live chat. Also, if you're watching this later, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, check out the links in the description because I have a cool shirt like this one, Keep Calm and Fix Phones, and some other designs as well. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the video. All right, so first thing I want to show you guys is the actual iPhone. So this is an iPhone 7, fully functional, except Touch ID is not original, but that doesn't matter. And this is a, as you'll see here, capacity 32 gigs, and we're gonna go ahead and upgrade it. So another thing is for this job, you do need a programmer. This is a JCP7. I believe there's a newer version of this, but the specific programmer supports only this type of NAND. This is people call it Pcie. I don't know the actual proper name, but it looks like this. There's basically 2 rows of large pads and then like a bunch of small pads. Let me show you under the microscope because it does matter to know the difference. So you'll see here there's 2 large rows of pads. There's 2 small ones here by themselves, and then a bunch in the middle. There's some other ones that are different models, which I don't have. Yeah, here we go. So here's like for iPhone 6 and older, you see there's the 2 big rows, but these 2 small ones are missing. And this one's actually physically a little bigger. So this NAND works on iPhone 6 and older and some older iPads. This one that we're going to use is for 6S, 6S Plus, 7, 7 Plus, also iPad Pros and some other ones. If you're not sure, just look at the pattern of the pads. They have to match, and then the NANDs are interchangeable. So that is one thing. Also, I do want to show you guys, I have a website where I've listed, you can see here. So if you go to vccboardrepairs.com/NAND, it'll take you to this page where I've compiled a bunch of oh wait, am I showing you guys? Yeah, so I've compiled a bunch of diagrams of how to tell how many gigs a NAND is. This is very useful for when you're looking for a NAND from a board, but you don't know if the board turns on and you just want to have look at the physical NAND. So for example, like this board, like what size is that? You can use these diagrams to try to figure it out. Now, there are some NANDs that are not in this page. So if you have other diagrams that point out, like the different sizes, let me know in the comments or, message me on Instagram or something. And, I'll update this page, but this is what I found so far. And it's about, I would say about 95% of all NANDs. I did come across a few that were not on here. So in those cases, you do have to pull the NAND and put it in the programmer to read the size. So that's just something to keep in mind. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for now. I see some people have some questions. So if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat. I'll try to answer them as I'm working because this might be a long video. So yeah, let me get the board ready. Okay, so let me disassemble. Hopefully it's not too long of a video because I do have to restore it after I replace the NAND, and that can take some time. So that's going to be a little boring part. All right, where's my tweezers? Unplug everything. Is it possible to back up the underlying data with iRepair P10 and write the important data to the new chip with the JC? Yeah, so I'll show you guys exactly how that works as far as programming the NAND. It's pretty straightforward, but I'll walk through that process once I get there. This process is basically the same with any programmer. The key thing is to understand which data is important. So once I get there, you'll see. It's pretty simple to understand once you see it. All right, so this is the board here. It's an iPhone 7. One of the first things I like to do is peel off this foam because it will melt and then get in the way of the connectors. Oh wow, look at that. There is long screw damage. Luckily, everything works except Touch ID because I don't have the original home button. Let me get this off. All right. Cool. And by the way, if you're watching live, make sure you hit that like button and let me know where you're from. Where are you watching from? What city, state, country? It's always interesting to see who's here. All right. So this is the NAND. This is the memory chip. This is what stores all the customer's data or all the user data. These are replaceable, but if you replace it, you have to restore. So you can't, you can't just like move this chip to another phone and it works. There's some other data that's paired all together. So if you're trying to recover data, you can't just swap this to another phone. So that's a whole different other topic. But for now, this is not a data recovery. This is just a memory upgrade, and the phone has no iCloud and data's already gone. So there's nothing important on here. One thing to note is this little dot right here. This is the orientation dot. So when we replace the new one, we have to make sure the dot is on this corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark here on the shield a little X to remind me of where the orientation. So first we got to remove the underfill. So I like to be at 250 Celsius with 65 air. Also, I am on a preheater. This is set to 120 Celsius. This is a PPD 120. So let's go ahead and basically clean this out. So I'm using an X-Acto blade number 11. And essentially, you want to clear out the underfill from the sides. This helps make sure the chip, when it comes off, it is not attached to anything else. I see a lot of chat messages coming in. So far, I see 13 people are here, but only 4 likes. So if you're here, make sure you hit that like button. Also, if you're watching, would be awesome if you share this video with your friends in your group chats and Facebook groups, anywhere that will help bring in more viewers. That would be awesome. I think it's been at least a month since I did a live stream, my last live stream. So if you guys want me to do more live streams, let me know. All right, so I'm just being real gentle. You don't want to scratch the board, the surface there with your blade. So someone asked, is the NAND the only thing I have to remove? Yes, for memory upgrade, you only have to replace this chip. And somebody asked, is it the serial, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth MAC addresses? And that's correct. That is the key data, but there's the other data that's critical as well. So I'll show you guys once I get there. If you're watching this not live, then you just have to skip forward to that part if that's all you care about. All right, I see some people here from California, Miami. I am in Las Vegas, Nevada. And no, I don't find it hard working with gloves. I actually prefer it. One, it creates just a little bit of heat resistance. Not too much, but it does, you know, that thin layer does make a big difference when you're touching something super hot compared to just your bare skin. Also, I hate having sticky hands. So like when there's flux and some other adhesives, I hate that feeling on my fingers. So main reason why I wear gloves. They're just nitrile gloves. They're called nitrile examination gloves. All right, I see some Santa Clarita, California, Hungary, Europe, Great Britain. We have a worldwide audience now. All right, so this is the boring part. We gotta clear the underfill. It's a little tedious, but it is critical that you do this because you can destroy the board. Not destroy it, but you can end up working more cleaning up the mess versus if you don't do it. I mean, versus if you do it. If you do clean it, then it makes it real easy. If you try to skip a step, you'll end up with more work than necessary. All right, so now let me do a closer inspection. All right, so we're basically going to do one last check. So I like to use the Pcie 007 hook to do the final cleanup. Originally, I was using a number 11 surgical blade. I'll link all this stuff in the description after. I don't think I have it all there, so I like to use the number 11 surgical blade first, so I feel that's a lot sharper and stronger. And then I use this, which has, you'll notice the tip is not very sharp, so it allows me to kind of just do the final cleanup. The goal is to feel flat surface all along the edges. That way we know it's physically separated. Also, this tool bends a lot, so like the tip will like bend sideways, so it makes it sometimes difficult to do like a straight scratch like this. Like if it's slightly curved, you're going to be hitting other stuff in the process. So these blades are replaceable. I replace them like every other day or every 2-3 days. So I always have a fresh blade that I can use to accurately like clean off the area. All right, so now the fun part, we're gonna remove the NAND. And this part is the risky part or the dangerous part. So definitely don't recommend you try this if like as your first time. Don't try this upgrade if you've never soldered before because you're gonna have a real bad time. If you wanna practice on like a dead board, go ahead, but don't do it on a real board. You're just gonna mess up. All right, so for this specific job, I like to use this tool. And what I do is I'll get under here and essentially I'll insert the tool as much as I can. And then I'll start going like this, like curving it up, applying upward pressure as I'm heating it, and that will eventually release it and it comes off. Now you do have to, like I said, this is not something you want to try very first time on, on like very first time soldering. You do have to learn to feel that resistance to know when it's too much. And So that's basically my suggestion is practice. I've done like 100 of these, so it's kind of natural to me. But it's your first time, you're gonna be like, you're probably gonna think you're pulling in too hard or not hard enough. Okay, so my settings are 410 Celsius with 10 air, and the goal is to go in fast circles and then try to gently insert the tool. And this is like an empty spot. Like there's no capacitors or anything here, so you can see my tool is slowly entering and I'm wiggling it. There you go, you can see how the tool has entered. And there you go, this came off. So wait a few seconds because I was using very high temperatures, so you want to let it cool down a little bit. Alright, so this is a 32 gig NAND. I'm going to put it off to the side. Very important to keep that because we need to read the data from it and then we're going to write it to the new NAND. Alright, so next step is we need to clean this underfill. Now I know there's some people who don't necessarily clean it. I like to clean it just because it just makes it a lot smoother process. So I'm using some tweezers that are kind of blunt tips. They're not sharp, so it makes it real easy to clean without damaging the surface. I'm gonna go back to 250. Essentially, I like to first go around the edges to get this stuff off, just so you guys can see a little better. Now there is a Canly tool that's like a underfill cleaning tool. Although every time I've used it, I end up scratching the board, so I don't use it anymore. I use just these tweezers. Essentially, the goal is to kind of scoop up the underfill and kind of clear it out. You kind of, I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera, but it's like a darker black versus the board is like a brown or brownish color. So you have to be able to kind of see that. So I'm using a Quick hot air station, Quick 861DW. I don't know what the settings are for any other hot air stations. So this is another boring part, so why don't you guys ask me some more questions in the chat while we do this boring part. Now one thing is, when an iPhone doesn't have a NAND installed, it does turn on. It'll go into Dfu mode instantly, and if you try to flash it, you'll get error 4014. That basically means NAND is not detected. So sometimes if you have an iPhone that goes instantly into Dfu, you do an update and the error is 4014, that means the NAND is either dead, a hard drop causes the NAND to disconnect from the pads, or something else. Sometimes rip pads on the NAND or the board. Or like if you install a new NAND and you get 4014, that means that was a bad install. But basically, NAND not detected. It's a fun fact. And this is universal across all iPhones. Not all iTunes error codes are universal, by the way. Also, I like to clean this off before I even try to, prep the pads. Also here's where I inserted my tool, and you can see I barely scratched the board here, but everything else is fine. So we're all good here. All right, guys, we have 24 viewers. That's pretty awesome. By the way, how's the quality look? I do see a warning from YouTube about the bit rate or something. On a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, how's the quality of the live stream in terms of the video and the audio? Let me know in the chat. I think I got... Alright, now that I got all the major parts, what I'm going to do is use my blade to come in and clean off everything around the perimeter. What I found is if you don't clean this off, even if it doesn't look like it's in the way, it ends up being in the way. So I like to kind of just come and do a final kind of clean up here. Somehow it ends up like one little speck of underfill. It's like sticking out, and it prevents the chip from lining up, and it just ruins the whole thing. I have to redo it. I see a lot of people commenting. It's starting to get hard to keep track. So, oh wait, do me a favor and share this video if you're enjoying it. Share it in your, group chats, Facebook groups, in your personal wall, and tag me. If you don't mind, that'd be awesome. All right, I think this is good enough for now. I still got a solder on here. So this is the device I own. It is a iPhone 7 that I had laying around here for like at least 2 years that I bought to repair, and then I never got to it. And I finally got to it, but now they're like not worth much. So I think the issue was, I think it was the Touch ID, the home button was ripped. So I kept putting it off because it's always like a pain in the ass to do. So now that there's the aftermarket home buttons, I figure like, you know what, let me just sell it with those since that works better. Since those work now. Back then there wasn't any home button solution. Alright, so right now I'm using 183 temp solder. This is the 6337, I think, Kester solder. Then I'm gonna use I've used the back of the blade as well to clean the underfill, but I like my tweezers better. So I'm gonna wick the board. I'm using the famous Art of Repair tweezers to hold the wick. It makes it a lot easier to wick with. Hold on, I missed a spot. All right, so there's one pad down here didn't get wicked. All right. So now the cleaning part. So what I'm going to do is, in order to prevent all this flux to go underneath the stickers around it, I'm going to use my alcohol and my little towel here to try to wipe it away. Usually I use my little hand pump, but if I do that, that sprays the stuff everywhere. This is a little easier because it picks up all the flux. All right, let me get a cleaner one. By the way, these are the Union Repair tool or 2UL little wiping cloths. Work pretty good. All right, so this is, you know what? I see some underfill still, so. Yeah, I've tried that hockey shape tool, and I can never do it in a way where it doesn't scratch the board. So, you know, there's always a tool. People are always going to have preferences, you know. So, my preference is the way I'm showing you now, although it's not the only way. Of course, you could, you know, experiment and see what works best for you. But you can use my example as a baseline, you know, to get an idea of the process, and then if you feel it's not working out great for you, you could always experiment with other stuff. Or at least you get an idea of what the process is like. You know, that's the great thing about the free market. You get to, you know, competition across different products and services. One size does not fit all. All right, so let me just clean off some of these edges. Like I said, it's always like this little piece of random underfill that gets in my way. All right, so let me do one more final inspection. I do see I scratched the board here, but that's fine. I didn't sever the line. I also have a little bit of OCD here. I try to make it look perfect. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and keep going, apparently. All right, so always these corners too that get me. All right, let's just go ahead and call this ready. All right, so let's go to, actually let me go back over here. So this is the original NAND I pulled from the board. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just prep the pads so that when I put it in the programmer, it will have something to make contact with. sometimes these pads are oxidized. So when you add new solder and flux, you can kind of freshen up the pads. The flux didn't make it all the way. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you don't want it oxidized. Like for example, this pad right here. See how this pad right here is like grayish? Like this is shiny down here, and these two are kind of grayish. But if you add some solder, you've now made them all shiny. Also, it kind of evens out the surface of it. So let me get my little towel here. Some alcohol. By the way, I appreciate every single one of you who liked the video and shared the video and are here live on the live stream. All right, so here, let me give you a quick look. This is what it looks like now. It's not reballed, but at least the pads are prepped and no oxidation. All right, so here's what we got to do. This is the NAND Programmer. So plug it in using lightning cable, and then on your programmer there's going to be a little arrow. What I did is I put a marker. I marked the orientation dot on here so it's like super visible. Otherwise it's kind of hard to see sometimes. All right, and then the dot on the chip. No, you cannot read data directly from the memory on an iPhone. Data is encrypted, and that's just not how this works. So fortunately, you have to get the device working and back up through iTunes. That's the only way. User data. Now you can get serial data, like I will show you right now. So this is the JC Programmer. You can get it from their website in the download section. And so we click refresh. We see we have a COM7, that is this device, because if I unplug it, there's no more COM7. So I'll plug it back in. Let me show you guys. All right, let me move this over. All right, let me do this. All right, so we have the original NAND in here. We have no COM7, so if I click refresh, now it detects it. We click connect. Not detected. All right, it said not detected. Probably. What I like to do is put a little bit of alcohol and put it back. We wait to see if it detects it. Uh-oh, what is happening here? Error detected during reading Pcie. All right, let me try this. I'm gonna physically push down on it. I might have to wick the pads. Oh, there it goes. All right, so it read the data. So yeah, it's probably my pads are not even, so. But the good thing is we got all the data, so now I could remove it. This part doesn't matter. So the important data we need here is all of it, but if you don't have it, the most critical is the serial number, the Wi-Fi, and the Bluetooth addresses. you need these three that are unique to the device. If you don't have it, let's say the NAND physically breaks and you cannot read it. There are ways to get it. The most common way is to pay for a service where you send the IMEI and they figure out the matching serial number, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth. But last I heard is that service is not available right now. There is another option using jailbreak, but right now there's no jailbreak for iOS 15. So something to keep in mind. So, but yeah, this is the most important data. Now there's some other data in here that's important. You select the right one. So for me, I am in the US, so make sure you have the right region or country selected, the right color. I do have, an iPhone. This is a gold iPhone, so the screen is white. The reason why that's important is when the iPhone turns on, depending on what color screen you have, this one will turn on with the white screen and black Apple logo. If you have an iPhone with a black screen, you'll get a black screen with a white Apple logo. And that is determined based on this, on the color of the model. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, you get that from the original, and the rest doesn't really matter. This data can be generated when it gets restored. So now let's say you're in a scenario where you have the serial number, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth, but you don't have anything else. So let's say you have a fresh NAND and you want to write serial number, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. So what you do is here on the left, you pick your model. So in my case, iPhone 7. This is the GSM model. Oh no, CDMA. So it's 1660. So iPhone 7, 160, and it is not the rose gold, I guess the white. You pick that, you click write sysconfig, and that will write generic NAND data to here. So let me show you what this other NAND I have here. So this is some other NAND. Now also, if you do get a NAND from a different model, let's say I got this from, well actually I think I got this from an iPad Pro. All right, awesome, thanks for the sub. There's a lot of chat going on, so it's hard for me to keep up. But right now I have an iPad Pro NAND that is the same type here. So let me do this. Let me clear this. So imagine I put a brand new NAND in here. Well, not brand new, but from another device. You connect, and it reads some data. You'll see it has some other data written on here. Model. This is an iPad Pro. So what we do is first we want to format it. What that does is you'll see if I click here, the query button, this will basically read the NAND data. And as you can see, a query and nothing fills in, it's blank. Oops. So what we do now is I want to do an iPhone 7 white, and then I click write, and this is writing sysconfig. So now if I query again, here we go. Here's all the data for that it just filled in. It's just generic data. Now you have to go in here and fill in the right serial number, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth, and then you write the checked info. So imagine you have all this checked. Write it, and now when you query it, you'll have it. So let me show you that process. So I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna put the original NAND. Also make sure this is aligned properly, because if you put it slightly off and you slam it shut, you're gonna break the NAND. Don't ask me how I know. Okay, so probably not gonna read. All right, let me try this again. I think the prepping of the pads left some uneven. All right. So this is the original NAND data that I need. So what I can do is bring up Notepad, and then, well, actually I don't need this anymore. So copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Right, so this is the three important numbers that I need. So I took off the old NAND, and now imagine I lost this data, like, oh, you know, the NAND died or I lost it or whatever. As long as I have those three pieces of information, I'm able to use it. So I'm going to put in the other NAND. This is actually the 256 gig NAND that I'll be installing. All right, so you can see this data does not match with this because it's a whole different set of information. So format, select your model, iPhone 7 white, write sysconfig. This is going to fill in some generic data. I go in here, I copy the correct serial number, copy, paste. Also, another very important thing, in majority of cases, the Bluetooth address is going to be a +1 value of the Wi-Fi. So here you can see the exact same number, except it's in hexadecimal format. So the number after D is the letter E. If it was E, it would be F. If it was F, it'd be 1. So it's in hexadecimal. So it's always going to be a +1, except for some rare cases where the last 4 or last 6, I don't remember, are different. So that's why you got to know the original data, because you never know if it's the correct one. There's some services that sell serial number and Wi-Fi, and if you get lucky, the Bluetooth is a +1. If it's not +1, the phone will not activate. It will restore and function, but you can't get through the activation screen when you're in the hello screen after a restore. So in this case, we have a +1, and the software will automatically fill in the +1 for you, but just to be sure, I will paste it. So now I have the correct serial number, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. I'm in the USA, and white or gold, doesn't really matter. Everything else honestly doesn't matter, because when you restore it, the phone will write all the rest of the information. So I'm gonna go ahead and click all. I'm gonna write. So now the proper serial number, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth are written to the NAND. So if I query or read, you'll see it pulls up the correct data here. So if you compare these, it's the matching one. So this NAND is now ready to be installed on the new one. If you guys have any questions on this, let me know in the chat or in the Facebook group. I do have a Facebook group. Let me see if I could pull it up here. Give me 1 second. It's linked in the description, so if you want to join, let me know. I'll approve it as soon as possible. So this is a new Facebook group. Make sure you subscribe, ask any questions here about this video. All right, so let's go ahead and get this installed. Also, one last thing is make sure you unlock the Wi-Fi. Before I forget, so this is the button here. And let me query. Yeah, you'll see here Wi-Fi is unlocked. But you can click it a few times just to make sure query Wi-Fi is unlocked. If you don't unlock Wi-Fi, you might have an issue. So might as well do it. It costs you nothing. Okay. So time to do some more soldering. All right, so this NAND might have been reballed already. So they just pretend it's not, so you can see what that process is like. So step 1 is to wick the chip flat. So this specific chip, I like to wick it because it makes it easier when I'm trying to reball it. Okay. And I'm on a clean cloth. That makes it so the chip doesn't slide around as much. And then clean it with some alcohol and a toothbrush. So one thing I did notice just now is there is some underfill stuck on here. So let me show you how I deal with that. Yeah, it's on the edges. So you can use a tool like this one, the called the eye pinch, I believe. That lets you rotate. I use it a lot, so it's real sticky. You gotta drop some alcohol on it so it makes it easier to open and close. So you can see it can handle a lot of different shapes. So what I like to do is use this as a chip holder. Also make sure when you hold it, don't crush it. Just put enough pressure to hold it, but don't put too much because then you can break the chip. All right, so I don't know if you guys can tell, there's some underfill along the edges. So just like clearing underfill on the board, we're gonna do the same here. Now, unfortunately, I was looking for an iPhone 7 board that had a 256 gig NAND, so I can show you the harvesting process and how to find it, but I couldn't find one, so I had to use one that had to use this NAND that was already pulled. Which, I mean, you basically follow the same steps as removing NAND as I showed you in the beginning. So use my site as a reference to figure out how many gigs it is. Otherwise, you can just use the NAND Programmer and read how much gigs it is. And then also the iRepair P10, you technically can also do the same upgrade with it. Although the steps are slightly different, you do have to swap the NAND, install it first, restore it, and then you write the correct information and then restore it one more time. So it's a little more cumbersome, but it is possible. The goal, basically your goal is to change the NAND and put the right information in the NAND. So with the programmer, you can just do it all in one step. The iRepair P10, you have to do multiple steps to achieve that goal. But yeah, this is all the underfill is gone. All right, now the fun part. By the way, if you're still here watching, make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel and click the links in the description if you want like a t-shirt like this one. Keep calm and fix phones. That'd be awesome. And if you do get a t-shirt, post it up on Instagram and tag me at VCC Board Repairs. It's in the description as well. Actually, I think it's VCC_board_repairs. All right, so I'm using I don't know what brand this is, but they're 3D stencils. The A9 or A10 3D stencil will have the same NAND pattern, BGA pattern. And this is the solder paste I use, the Mechanic XG50 183 solder. That should be linked in the description, but I'm not too sure. So this is what it looks like. So when you first scoop this out of the little bucket, it will be very liquidy. What your goal is to get this a little more dry. So what you can do is get a clean paper towel and just press down to kind of squeeze out some of that flux that's in the paste. It makes it a lot easier to reball once it's dried out a little bit. You don't want to dry it out too much because then it's hard to apply. All right. And then you might get a little bit of hair fibers on it, but that's fine. They'll burn away. And essentially, we're just applying it. All right, I got a lot of hairs on here, so let me clear it out. Now, when you're reballing and you put pressure down to hold it, don't let go. You don't want the paste to get in between the different squares. And your goal is to fill in every single square. And now I'm scraping it away to kind of clean up the area. And if you see any kind of silver from the pad still, just apply some more and repeat the process. And then come back and scrape it away. All right. So you'll see, don't let go of your two fingers, holding it down until you get some other tweezers. I'm using some curved tweezers. Now I'm pressing down on the tweezers and now I can let go of my hand. Now I'll go to my reballing temperature. So for this NAND, I'm gonna go a little higher just because I know it's a little thicker, so there's a little more thermal mass. All right, cool, we're at 15 likes. And we have 23 viewers. Who hasn't liked the video? And if you dislike this video, just go ahead and go somewhere else. Don't click that dislike button, please. And then basically what I'm gonna do is just kind of go in circles. The goal is to warm up the stencil. And be patient. This one does take a while for NAND. There it goes. So once you see it forming, just kind of work that area until all the solder balls are formed in that side, and then start working closer to the rest. All right. All the solder balls are formed. So now let go and immediately poke it out of the stencil. It didn't get stuck, so that's good. All right, so what I like to do now is clean the stencil because I will need this again in the future, and I don't want to have to clean it while it's cold. It's best to clean it while it's hot because that makes it so much more easier to clean. So isopropyl alcohol and a little towel here. And I'll put this away. Oh sweet, 20 likes. Alright, so let me clean this as well. Alright guys, let me know what you guys think of my reball on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the best. 0 means I should quit soldering. Also, one thing to do is clean off this underfill on the edges. Oftentimes you'll have big chunks of underfill. So using a blade, just kind of scrape flat so it just takes off anything that sticks, that is kind of sticking out. Essentially shaving off. That stuff will make the chip not sit straight and will ruin the placement. All right. What's more tedious? I would say just cleaning the underfill. Very time consuming. All right, so this is my reball, you'll notice the center small pads, or small balls, are a lot larger than the large pads, and that's actually fine. Now some people like to reball this multiple times so it gets a really nice shape, but I don't think it's necessary. Let me do this. What do you guys think? Well, it's kind of hard to see. All right, so this is prepped, ready to go. And then here's the board, here's the NAND. Let me post this on social media real quick. Why don't you guys say hi to my story friends? I'm going to post a story right now. So drop a hello in the chat, and then I'll show you guys on my story. Notice this is the best way to take a picture for your microscope. You just put the phone up into the lens until it's lined up, and then take a picture. All right, doing a NAND upgrade, 256 gigs, live on YouTube. We have 20 viewers. So if you're not here, you're missing out. But we have people saying hello. All right, doing a NAND upgrade, 250. All right, cool. All right, let's go ahead and get this installed. So assuming the NAND is good and nothing went wrong, we're pretty much done here. Oh wait, there's a little speck of something here. I think I got it. Okay, so what I like to do is put a super thin layer of flux and make contact with all the pads. Also, I had the chip here on the board on purpose, so the chip warms up and it's easy to apply some flux here as well. It's a very thin layer. Okay, so if you remember, we marked the bottom left as the orientation dot. So this little X reminds me to put the chip in this direction. You can see here, 256 gigs. And one of the cool things, not cool, but one of the things that does help you out here is that there's not much space the chip can go, and all the pads are spaced out really far. So pretty much you can't go wrong as far as installation. So as long as you kind of space it right, it should install right. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of heat up the board. I'm using 365 Celsius and 65 air. And I'm essentially looking for bubbling flux underneath the chip. Oh, look at that, we're about 1 hour in. Actually, we're not doing bad on timing. All right, I can see all that flux bubbling and kind of spreading out here on the bottom. Can you guys see that? Here on the side. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna poke the chip to see if it's settled. You guys see that? How it kind of snaps back into place. Pretty much means the chip is now installed. So just wait a little bit. Give it maybe a good 10-20 seconds. And then I'm gonna kind of try to clean this off. Although flux shouldn't damage anything. But I like to just clean it off. I don't like to leave the board all sticky, whatnot. All right, so I'm gonna put the board on my very advanced board cooler, which is essentially a 2x2 inch block, steel block that kind of absorbs all the heat. All right, cool. So let's see, did I miss any questions? For someone looking to get into iPhone PCB repair, where should they start? My advice for that is watch every single YouTube video you can on this topic. You know, whether it's my channel, Lewis Rossman, you know, there's 100 different micro soldering channels. You know, Rescue from Ben P, Jason, STS Telecom. Watch every single one so you get an idea of like the processes, common issues. 2 is buy some iCloud locked boards and practice, you know, removing a chip, putting it back, reballing chips, stuff like that. Once you kind of get an idea of that, you can start buying, you know, problematic boards with board issues like Audio IC, TriStar, Touch IC, and practice those repairs. If you already do phone repair, like you do screen repairs, anytime you get a customer that comes in with a board issue, offer to buy that phone off of them. Even if it's, you know, higher than market price, get it at a good price where you'll break even if you are able to repair it and resell it. And what that does is you'll have phones that are real phones. It'll put that pressure on you to make sure you repair it successfully, and then you'll basically won't lose money if you repair it. If you don't repair it, then you'll just have a parts board you can use later on for something else. That's basically how I started, so that's just my suggestion. Now I do teach a course, so if you do want to get like a guided process where you know, we walk you through the actual learning, you know, learning the foundations and all that, then check out the link in the description about the course. I think it's like the 3rd one down. So, you know, there's multiple options. If you want to do it DIY, then just watch every single YouTube video you can. Instead of going out and having drinks at the bar, stay home and watch YouTube videos. Instead of, you know, playing Call of Duty, watch YouTube videos. Join every single Facebook group that has to do with micro soldering and repairs. Read every single comment thread, even if you don't know what the issue is and what they're talking about. Read every single comment, read the back and forth. You know, instead of watching Netflix, you know, The Office, full series again, watch YouTube micro soldering videos. All right, cool. So let's go over here. All right, I don't need this anymore. All right, so this is 3U tools. This is lets you restore and do all that good stuff. So what I'm gonna do is go to smart. So as you notice, the phone booted up to Dfu mode. That's because this NAND has been wiped. It has been, you know, the NAND is basically blank NAND with just the serial Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and just that data. So go here to Smart Flash, pick whatever. Uh-oh, did not download it. I could have sworn I downloaded this before the video. All right, fantastic. Let me download on the queue. All right, let me try a different one. Now, I have heard of people having issues with downloads like this. Let me show you what I've done in the past to fix it. The one is close it. Watch videos at the bar. I wouldn't recommend that because you will be distracted and you won't pay attention. Look at that, it's already downloading. If you're serious about this, then act like it, you know. Don't make excuses why you got to do other stuff. You know, if you don't want to learn, then that's totally fine too. But don't say you want to learn and then have your actions, you know, speak louder than your words. So, all right, cool. So we're downloading iOS 15.1. Hopefully, there's no issues with activation, because you never know, Apple could be changing stuff around. All right, here's the phone. So now's a good time. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat. If you've already asked me something and I didn't answer it, probably didn't see it, so drop them in the chat again. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of the video so far. If you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I wonder if I could see anyone subscribed since. Probably not. All right, guys, so we're at 67%. So since we're live, we can't fast forward this. And since this is being posted live, I can't even edit this out. Every time I try to do the live editing on YouTube for existing videos, it just never loads. Like, you make a change and just the little loading bar just stays there forever, for hours. So I don't even bother. All right, cool. So it's pretty much done. Verifying. All right, so I guess meanwhile, let me show you some things about 3U tools. There's Easy Flash up here on the left. This is, you know, 3U tools version of, you know, an update or restore. And there's iTunes Flash. Although nothing really changes here, once you start the Flash process, you will see it's a little different. Also, when you're troubleshooting a boot looping device and you do an update and it fails, then you want to try both of these, Easy Flash, and take a picture of what error or what percentage it failed at, and then try iTunes Flash and see what iTunes error code you get. Do not use the Easy Flash error code because that one's never accurate. All right, and then here at the bottom, you have retain user data and quick flash. Retain user data is the same thing as an iTunes update. It means it reflashes the software but does not mess with the user data. Quick flash is the same thing as a restore. That means all data is wiped and you have to you know, basically set it up again. You're at the hello screen. If you don't have the iCloud info, then you'll be locked out of it. Whereas this one just reflashes the software, but nothing changes as far as user data. The device is already activated and whatnot. In this case, we're doing a NAND upgrade, so we have to do a quick flash. This is a restore, and let's do an easy flash. A quick flash, 15.1 flash. So yeah, so some more alone time with you guys. So if you guys have any questions, now's a good time. Ask me anything. I don't care. If I don't want to answer it, I just won't. So yeah, this should take no more than 5-10 minutes. I guess since there's no questions, I'll check my phone for any important anything going on. A question, what do you guys think about this light right here? Should I have it off? It feels kind of weird because it's kind of dark. Let's see. All right, I see some questions. Do I drink? Yes. Am I married? Yes. No kids, but I do have 1 dog and 2 cats. I am 35 years old. Any other questions? All right, so now you'll see here, the phone has a loading bar. So that's a good sign. That means it's actually getting to the stage where it's writing to the NAND. Usually if you're doing a NAND upgrade or any kind of NAND work, if it fails like at 20% or less, then it will most likely be a NAND issue. If it fails after this, then maybe something else. Okay, so and thank you, Italian retro guy. Interesting name. You guys have any other questions? Why don't you guys type in the chat? Type of 1 if you do phone repair. Type of 2 if you do micro soldering. Type of 3 if you don't do any kind of repairs. You're just watching this because, I don't know, you're just wondering what this is all about. So 1 if you do just general screen repairs. 2 if you can do also micro soldering. Or 3 if you don't do repairs at all. Oh, good question. What do you need to micro solder? Well, I do have a page for that. So if you go to the link in the description, vccboardrepairs.com/gear, I have a full list of recommended tools. So hot air station, I use a Quick 861DW with the bent nozzle. Soldering irons, I use Hackle FM203 with a standard iron, which is a BC1, and a micro pencil using a J-tip. Actually, this is my old DC power supply, but it still works. Multimeter probes, the iPower Pro Max, which I rarely actually use. I actually use the DT880 more often. Microscope, I use a Parco microscope, so linked here as well. Now let me drop this in the chat for you guys can browse while we wait for this restore to finish. We're at 32%. Actually, I need to put this off to the side. I'll put it here so we can still. Let me do this. All right, some other tools I have listed here is the whole microscope setup, also the lights, the camera, reduction lens, fume extractor. I do use a DIY fume extractor. Basically, it's a inline fan with some duct and you know, just basically a bunch of tubes and stuff. It's all like connects to each other, super easy. Thermal camera, which I have right here. So one of the things about this thermal camera that I like is that it's very compact. I could pull it out, use it, and then put it away. And also when you're working on it, one thing you'll notice is like from working on this, I could see the screen like right here, right in front of me. Now there are other thermal cameras where it connects to your PC. So you're looking at the phone here, but you have to look up to the screen, and it's very difficult sometimes when you're trying to do something here and you got to look away, whereas here you're looking, it's all within eyesight. So it's one of the huge benefits. Plus the macro lens is key here because it lets you get in real close and see the shorter component versus the other thermal cameras which are far away. So that's just my preference, and I think it's just the ideal setup. So I have all that linked here. Nand Programmers here as well, multimeters, sandwich tools, so you know, splitting the sandwich, reballing, testing jigs, and all the other stuff, jumper wire, solder wire, screwdrivers, all this other stuff. And then also I have a whole camera. So if you're wondering how I do these YouTube videos, this is I have an actual quick video here where I kind of show you my whole setup with links to everything here as well. But let me know if there's anything else. You could probably ask me in the Facebook group if there's anything else you want me to add. But this is like, I would say a good 80–90% of everything I use. All right, and I do see there's a lot more questions coming up. Let's see, where did I leave off? So, let's see, best tool to remove underfill. I showed you in the beginning of the video. If you missed it, just restart the video and you'll see. Yeah, I heard good things about the add-in hot air station. Is essentially a quick clone, but it does have additional features, like you can turn off the air with your on the wand itself with your finger. How and when did you get into board repair? So I started phone repair in about, well, I started phone repairs in general in 2014-ish. I would buy broken phones, fix them, and resell them. This was back in the iPhone 4, iPhone 5 days. And then eventually I found that having people come to me to fix their phones was a lot more efficient than me driving all around town trying to buy phones. I was also selling stuff on eBay. Just go to Goodwill and other thrift stores, yard sales, buying random stuff and reselling them on eBay and Amazon. And then, so I eventually started just doing phone repair more often because I was posting all my work on my personal Instagram and Facebook. And then people started reaching out asking for phone repairs. So then I officially made a repair business in 2016. And in 2017, this is all out of my house. In 2017, in the summer, I decided to try micro soldering after watching a ton of Louis Rossmann videos and other repair soldering videos on YouTube. I would literally watch videos all day long. You know, at work, I would have it off to the side, watching and listening. I joined all the Facebook groups about it and just try to soak in as much information. This was even before I bought any equipment. And then I decided, screw it, use my credit card to buy, microscope, iron, hot air, tweezers, solder wire. I had already collected a few dead boards, and then I started practicing. And like I said earlier, I had a few customers come in with board issues. And instead of trying to, outsource and get it fixed, I offered to buy it off them. And I was able to fix a lot of them just by watching YouTube video tutorials. Also in the Facebook groups, I would post about the issue I was having and have people walk me through on there, and just kept going. Within, I would say, so summer 2017 is when I started soldering. In like January, February of 2017, I was already having people mailing me phones for repair, just because they saw me being so active in all the Facebook groups. Whenever I learned something and then I see somebody else post about it, I would go and comment the answer, just because I already kind of learned that. And so people started reaching out to me for repairs, and it kind of just snowballed from there. So yeah. Let's see, what else did I miss? I think, what have you used for that blue arm? Yeah, so my stand itself is a custom stand that I will be selling soon. I do gotta do some things before I can sell it, but it'll be soon, maybe next week. I'll make a video about it as well, so I can show you all the cool stuff about it. Let me drink some water. That was a lot of talking. Good news is this hasn't failed. It's still going through, so we shouldn't have any issues, hopefully. All right, so who do you watch these days on YouTube? I honestly don't watch too many board repair videos anymore. That's because I kind of already know. It sounds arrogant, but I kind of already know the fundamentals of a lot of stuff, so I don't really need to watch YouTube videos for learning. I mostly watch them for entertainment. So sometimes I'll watch, well, I do watch a lot of Louis Rossmann. STS Telecom, I like his videos, very entertaining. But that's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean that's all I could think of. I mostly have music playing on YouTube or like political news. But yeah, that's my YouTube life. All right, 80%, almost there. Does anyone else have any other questions? Oh, I see some people commented my question. So, Italian Retro Guy does micro soldering, Nigel Buford micro soldering, and Darren Lawrence does micro soldering. Who here is watching the live stream and does not do any kind of phone repair at all, like zero? I'd be interested who there's any of those people here. And who here doesn't know how to micro solder but wants to learn? Oh, I see Mobile Guru also said, does phone repair and minimal soldering kind of work? And it's taking forever. You guys want to know something funny? I should have done this one, but I don't know why I want to save it. I do have a 512 gig NAND. I actually had one customer once. He had an iPhone 6s Plus, and he paid me to do a 512 gig upgrade on a 6s Plus, and this was within a year ago. So you can imagine a super old phone with 512 gigs. I mean, he paid me, you know, the chip itself was like 50, 60 from China, just because I didn't have it in stock at the time. And then plus the whole repair, like the whole labor part, which is, I think I charged them like 200 or 220 or something like that. All right, congratulations, clean flash. Now the next boring part, this thing has to load. So anytime you do a restore and update, it goes through the flash process, and then you have the loading bar. So now we have to wait for that as well. By the way, if anyone has an iPhone 11, 11 Pro, 11 Pro Max that they want me to upgrade, let me know. I do want to make a video on that as well, because I'm curious to see if anyone's interested in that. I'll do it at a discounted price just so I can make a video on it. All right, so here you can see the loading bar. Let me unplug it, plug it back in. Oh, laptop repairs, all right. Yeah, so the 512 gig on a 6S Plus, yeah, definitely the memory is worth more than the phone. All right, cool. So you can see here we have the loading bar. So before we see the hello screen, this has to load up. But you can see the phone is back into normal mode. It's detected by 3U tools. And good news is we have the IMEI still here present. That's the good sign. Means there's no baseband issues. This is the notorious A1660, which has baseband issues, but you know, through this whole process, we didn't mess it up. Now the more moment of truth. Click. So there's two ways to activate the phone. One is through the menu here on the screen, which it finally loaded, where you know, put in your Wi-Fi and whatnot. Or 3U Tools has a button so it can do it for you. Click activate now, click start. And this is the moment of truth. If it activates, that means the serial, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth are the correct sets of information, and there's no issue. And look at that, it activated. So, right, NAND information, and 2, Apple has not blocked this process. You know, we're on 15.1, and it's still able to upgrade with no issues. I remember when iOS 13 maybe came out, where like somebody was having issues activating a few of these after a NAND upgrade, and they were claiming that Apple patched it and blah blah blah. Turns out that was false. And this was a known repair guy, so I don't want to say who because no need. All right, so this is upgraded, so now continue. Oh yeah, Touch ID doesn't work on this. Don't use, don't use, don't use, don't transfer, agree, agree, continue, not now, enable, later, later, don't share, continue, continue, get started. All right, the phone is working, no SIM card, cameras is working. Let's check Wi-Fi. Now I don't have the screws in, so Wi-Fi is not gonna pick up any signal, but you can see it scanning. I'm sure if I push down on here, it'll pick up something. Yeah, you can see it picked up something. Bluetooth is working. Sound. I hear sound out of both speakers. This is stereo sound, so there's sound off the top and the bottom speakers. And then, oops, about, and here you have it. Capacity 256 gigs, and it's working. So yeah, we're done. so let me see. I see there's a few questions here. All right, we have all right, Italian Retro Guy gave some recommendations for YouTube channels. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So, all right, thanks a lot everyone for watching. I appreciate all you guys who stuck around to the end. Hit that like button if you made it here to the end. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this video. You know, as you saw, the process is super simple. It looks like the video is 1 hour and 28 minutes as of now. Although, if you didn't have me talking for so much and the iOS update was already downloaded, this would have taken a lot faster, probably under 1 hour. So I have a lot of people ask me for memory upgrades, so you know, I've kind of mastered this repair, or not really repair, it's just a service technically. So if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, check out the links in the description if you want to get a shirt like this one. Keep calm and fix phones. I'll probably come back with another video maybe by Monday. So thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.